Face masks are back. What are you going to do about it? Hello everybody, Trailer Trash Tim. Welcome to the channel. It is Wednesday morning here in Alabama and we're supposed to hit triple digits today. Our high is supposed to be 100 degrees. Let's go for a little walk. I don't know if you can avoid it. Maybe unless you go to high elevation or maybe to the Pacific Northwest or something like that. Just out here having my coffee up on my deck. Kiki's up there sitting down. You see that right under my deck? My yard looks awful. I'm gonna try and get some grass cut today. That right there is an electric bicycle, an e-bike. And it needs a little love. I want to get that thing fired up when I go to Florida. Maybe I can ride it in the campground and on the beach. But here I am. I'm gonna walk down into the woods to our little woodsy retreat, because we need to talk about this problem. I did a previous video about masks, and if you watched it, then you already know my feelings about face masks. And ironically, or maybe not so ironically, I just learned within the last couple of days that face masks are making a comeback. And I ain't real happy about that. How about that Georgia hat? Georgia Bulldogs, defending national champions. I'm ready for some college football. That's the one sport I like to watch, is college football. And every time I come down here, I run into a spider web. It's just unavoidable. But that's okay. I hope all of you are well. By the way, before we get going, please make sure to like this video down below. I've got spider web all over me. Give me a big thumbs up on the video. I would appreciate that if you would subscribe to the channel. And speaking of subscribing to the channel, yesterday, if you saw my short, I told you we hit 2,000 subscribers. Is that just fantastic? I mean, that just blows my mind. I know in the grand scheme of things, there's other channels that have millions of subscribers. I get that, but hey, I'm all about, small beginnings and growing a channel. I think it just blows my mind that there's 2,000 people subscribe, over 2,000 now. I think the last time I checked, it was like 2,050 or something like that, and that just warms my heart. Thank you so much, those of you who have subscribed. I just continue to be blown away by it. All the emails that I get and the buy me a coffees and all that jazz. It's just fantastic. Thank you all so very much for joining into our channel, and I hope I can just continue to bring you some content that you can enjoy, maybe chew on, think about, have a laugh, a chuckle. Here comes Kiki the cat. I don't know if I can get her on camera. She's pretty shy, but anyway, we need to talk about this deal because I have had it up to here with this nonsense, and I'm just going to be straight up with you before I go any further and tell you how I feel about the wearing of masks. I've always felt this way. It is utter nonsense. Hello, Kiki. You want to say hello? No, you don't want to say hello. Before I say anything else about, well, she got me sidetracked. There's no justification, scientific justification for wearing masks. There just isn't. Mask wearing has no efficacy. It does nothing for you. I believe it is simply a social status thing. I think it's an illusion. I think there are people out there, and I see them all the time in the marketplace, who wear them and they just have this false sense of security that if they simply put a diaper on their head, they're not going to get you-know-what, which I can't reference on YouTube. But it's just an illusion, folks. It just is. There's no scientific data to back it up whatsoever. But there are so many people who just are so willing to lay down and roll over for anything that some person or some bureaucrat tells them that sounds like they know what they're talking about. Well, they don't know what they're talking about. Bureaucrats are not the brightest people in the world. They're lifelong government employees that are in it for themselves, in it for their pensions and their benefits. But, boy, there's so much I could say about that, but I'm a little skittish about what I can say on YouTube. But here's what got all this going. Say hello, Kiki. What are you eating? Are you eating grass? Can you believe this cat? I got to tell you the story of Kiki. That's another video I'm thinking. A couple of days ago, I either heard on the radio or I read an article about Morris Brown College in Atlanta. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but this is kind of one of two things that got this going. Morris Brown College has reinstituted a mask-wearing policy, as has a big studio in California, Lionsgate Film. They're now requiring everybody to mask up once again. Now, the Morris Brown, the Lionsgate didn't surprise me, neither did Morris Brown, but I want to talk for just a second about Morris Brown College. Morris Brown is a HBCU, a historically black college university. Morris Brown was founded in the year 1881. Okay, I did a little research on them this morning. Their motto, they have a motto, and if you can believe it, their motto is "To God and Truth." You got that? To God and truth. And they're requiring mask wearing again, but they're committed to truth. Their high enrollment, I found out, was 2,500 students, so it's not a very big university. They had a lot of controversy very early in the 2000s over something, and they lost their accreditation, and it almost killed them. They got down to, I think I read, around 40 students. Today, they have 270 students as of August 23rd of this year, 2023. They were the first educational institution in the state of Georgia to be owned and operated by entirely by African Americans. And their current enrollment, I just say, is 270. So Morris Brown College put out a statement earlier this week, and they basically, I'm not going to read it all, but they said that as of right now, based on CDC guidelines, masks, or the wearing of masks, are now required on campus, as is social distancing, temperature checks, got to get your temperature checked, and there can be no large gatherings. Of course, they don't say what that is. I don't know what a large gathering is. Is it 20 people? Is it 200 people? Is it 2 people? You can't have large gatherings anymore. This is just outrageous. It's just utter nonsense. We have been so lied to. We Americans, and this may be true in the country from where you're watching, we have been so lied to, and there's no more glaring example than the lies that we have been told by the CDC and the little dwarf, Mr. Fauci, who Rand Paul has done an excellent job of exposing as a liar, just a bald-faced liar who makes more money, or made more money before he retired, than the president, and he just enriched himself on lie after lie after lie. As I have said before, we Americans anyway are swimming in lies. We are up to our necks in nothing but lies. It's just absurd what we are told as the truth, but it simply isn't the truth. And I know I'm skating on thin ice here with YouTube. That's why I'm trying to pick my words carefully, but hopefully you can read between the lines. I'm getting eaten up all of a sudden by mosquitoes or something, but we're gonna forge ahead. So the masks are back. My question for you is this: what are you going to do about it? If it comes to your neighborhood, if it comes to your workplace, what are you going to do? Are you going to comply? If you work in a corporation and they tell you tomorrow you got to put the mask back on, are you going to do it? What about if you try and go into a retail store and they say you can't come in our store until you put a diaper on your head? Are you going to do it? I know what I'm going to do, or what I'm not going to do. I've had it. I have had it with the lies, and I've had it with the diapers on our heads, and I'm not going to do it. And I think there's probably a lot of Americans out there and a lot of people watching around the world who are fed up with the lies, and we're going to say, no, Hell no, we're not going to do it. Enough of this nonsense. Now, I'm a man who had the C twice. I was sick, but whether or not I wore a mask had nothing to do with whether or not I was sick. Here's the truth that you can't get away from. You know, we have politicians in this country who are largely worthless. These people exist for one thing, and that is power. They'll do anything to get it, and once they get it, they'll do anything to keep it. It's possible to throw them out of office, but there's another component to power which emanates from Washington, and that is bureaucrats who are not elected, and they stay there for life, and they make policies, and they have, for some reason, they get power to enforce their policies. There are bureaucrats working for federal departments who can come into your business, like OSHA, for example, and they can shut you down. They can fine you. They can put you out of business, because that's what bureaucrats are experts at: killing small businesses, killing freedom, and killing liberty. That's what they're there for, to kill liberty. They are anti-American as far as I'm concerned. Now, if you're like me and you're saying, no, I'm not going back to those days again. I'm not putting a diaper back on my head. I'm not going to be an idiot. What can you do about it? I'm going to get back to that. I'm going to get to that in just a second, but there's one more thing I want to say about Morris Brown. Morris Brown, founded in 1881, a historic black college and university. They say they are committed to God and truth. I have maintained on a previous video that slaves wear masks. What is a slave? A slave is somebody who just rolls over and plays dead and does anything they are told. And I believe this with all of my heart, that anybody in America, after knowing all we know by this point, who still willingly puts a diaper on their head, that's what I call them, they're a slave. You're just a slave. You've just completely caved in, and you've basically said to the government, if you'll just take care of me, I'll do whatever you say. Can you imagine any early American saying something like that? To just completely lay down and say, just take care of me and I'll do anything you say. I mean, how far will you go with that? What does liberty mean to you? What does freedom mean to you? What does the ability to live your own life as you see fit? Does that mean anything to you at all? Do you have a spine? There's a lot of Americans who don't have spines anymore, apparently. I believe with all of my heart it is a slave who wears a mask, a misinformed American who still puts those things on. And the irony about the Morris Brown College is this: it is a historic black college, and you would think if anybody would be against the concept of slavery, it would be them. Yet they are first in line to say, yes, we will comply with the dictates of the federal government. Give us a mask, we'll put it on. Is that not just glaringly ironic? Now, what can you do about this if it comes down your street again? If these mandates reach your doorstep again, what can you do about it? You know, there's an old saying, and it goes like this: you can't fight City Hall, but you can pee on the courthouse steps and run. I love that. Sometimes those of us who are still committed to freedom, those of us who are still committed to liberty, we feel like it's us against the world. Maybe it is, I don't know. But there are things you can do. Number one, you can stay away from those businesses which require you to put a diaper on your head. You can stay away from bars and restaurants and retail merchants who may go back to this. You can just say, hey, if you're going to require me to put that on my head, I won't be a customer. That's one thing. You do have the power to vote with your feet and just not go where these things are required. If you go to a doctor's office and they require you to wear this apparatus, go get another doctor. I've done that. I'm over it. I am done with it. If you're a physician and you are you don't know any better than what the truth is about these things, then I don't need you working on me. I don't need you working on me. If you don't know any better than that, I don't need you drawing blood from me. Not going to happen. Now, the best advice I could give anyone who is tired of these government mandates is simply this. The worst place to live in America is a city. The best place to live in America is the country. If your concern is freedom and liberty, the best place to find the most of that is in a rural setting. And if you happen to be in a rural setting, it might be a good idea to get to know your county sheriff. And the reason I say that is because the county sheriff is the last line of defense until you get to your front door of liberty for you. And if you have a county sheriff who feels similarly to the way that I'm talking right now, he could be your friend. He could be your ally. And I would encourage you, if you live out in the country, to get to know your local officials and let them know you support them. You're on their side. That could benefit you greatly one day. I'm running a little long, and I'm sorry about that, but I'm really passionate about this. It just drives me bonkers. How about you, Kiki? Are you mad about this too? Oh yeah, she's mad. She don't like it. See, she don't wear a mask either. Listen, put your comments down below. I would really love to hear what you have to say about this issue of great importance. One thing I forgot to say is this. The timing of all this, I think, is relevant because we are heading into an election year. And isn't it ironic, again, that the mask wearing dictates and mandates are coming back just as we fire up for another federal election? Happened before, and it may have cost somebody a re-election. I don't know. I think it had a play in it. Could happen again. I hope not. Put your comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Remember to give me a thumbs up on the video. Everybody have a fantastic Wednesday. Stay cool, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Trailer Trash Tim. Oh, by the way, how's your mom and them? Over and out.